fascinates me how in the last probably 4 weeks, every time I've gone to have one of these sessions, there's been challenge after challenge after challenge. And I'll just hold there a second. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not there is a lesson behind this, because even though I tell people, just live life, do what you need to do, but when you start to see repeating patterns of things that are happening to you, especially over a short space of time, like for me in the last 4 weeks, it's been illness, upper airway issues, and I'm having to postpone and postpone. But the thing is, I really want to do this. This is what I enjoy doing, is coming on here and teaching people and helping them to find their own expression. To the point where I've got myself a nice camera, and that was my initial issue today, was the fact that the camera wasn't registering, but it is now, and a new microphone to make sure that's all, the sound is all good as well. So thank you for putting up with my teething problems over the last, I don't know, 4 to 5 weeks. Still not 100%, but I'm just going to go with the flow here, and I'm hoping that people do eventually find that this is now working and is now live. I see there's one viewer, so welcome. Thank you for coming. Even though I've been quite frustrated with the way things have been in the last few weeks, there is an obvious global shift happening for a great many people. We've had tragedy after physical ailment, after loss, after a huge growth expansion for a lot of people. And for some, it's actually thrown them, including myself. I'm human. I may understand the things that are shared with me, but it's just understanding that there is more to all this than just our current expression, our current way we are at the moment. It's just to believe the fact that, one, if we're going through any challenging times, it's always going to be temporary. Two, that, just try and go gently on yourself when things get rough. It's okay to postpone things. It's okay to say no. One of the things for those that are naturally giving is that it's very, very difficult to put their own needs before others. And I think it's very important that as you start to feel as though that you want to help serve the world, I know that sounds rather grandiose, but, help be there for people, you really have to put yourself first. You have to go in here and ensure that you are in the right headspace. You're right in the physical mind. And that, I know that sounds rather odd, physical mind. Obviously, the wanting to share a few ideas with me. But the physical mind is what helps you remain grounded as a human being. We are here as a human being, but our source heart, our source mind, that provides us the wisdom to help us get through it. And it's just remembering that. And I'm here. I've for the last 20 minutes, I've been trying to get this silly thing working. And it was very, very easy for this to say, Phoenix, just give up. You're not going to obviously do it today. But it's time for me, and it's time for many of us to put our foot down and say, enough. We're here to do the things that we enjoy. We're here, and life will be created accordingly based on the things that we're putting out there. So if I put out there resistance, well, then what am I going to experience? Resistance back. I'm going to get walls. I'm going to get blocks. I'm going to get difficult people. I'm going to get those that are going to challenge me or trip me up or do anything that that brings me further away from the space that I want to be. So it's a constant dance, this, isn't it, of going forward and coming back and going forward and coming back. I've got so much that I want to accomplish in my lifetime. I've been recently told that, and it is based on Wayne Dyer's Don't Die With Your Story Still in You, or your book still in you, or your song still in you. I don't intend to. I've got too much happening, and there's just so much that I need to get out there. I've got lots of friends in my house today. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so about 4 weeks ago, lots of people were posting questions with regard to, things that they were interested in getting answered in a channeled perspective. I have no idea if anything's going to be channeled through my usual partner today. Usually Sharon comes through, and they were here this morning and bringing me all sorts of wisdom, but today is just going to be a go with the flow. I've been struggling so hard. It's time to just relax. And that's something that I'm highly encouraging everybody else here to do. We've had a few shifts in the world that have once again turned things on their axis. When horrible things happen, don't own it. Yes, send love, send healing, send peace, send joy, all those things that make you feel good. But don't get into the media hype around the things that you experience. So I believe there's a few people here at the moment. I don't know if they can talk at the moment. Currently there's two. But anyway, once again, I'm here to work with some questions, and we're just going to go with the flow with this one, and it won't be as long. It's only going to be another half hour because I want to be with my daughter today. She's got the certificate for something. She's 8. So the first question that we've got here is, and it was a very interesting one. It's by Katrina. And how do we really know what the universe or our outer life is and where we truly come from? I just recently saw someone post on Facebook about how they've got this yearning to go home, to be back amongst the love, amongst the bliss, amongst the beauty that Source provides. And I've had, over the 15 years of talking to people, listening to them about how they just want to be back to that overall soul state. What many of us, and this is what I shared with her, because I felt her sadness and the fact that she felt she couldn't get there. But we are constantly there. Only a spark is in here. It's not our our total soul is not within. Our oversoul still remains in Source. You are still surrounded by that ultimate love and that beauty and that joy and that which brings you a huge sense of peace from a soul perspective. And I believe that everybody is capable of tapping into that. It's a choice thing. It's up to you whether or not you wish to do that. But when we get so caught up in the humanism of our experience, it becomes separate, and this separateness has to change. We've been taught to be one, or I, or the whole I am, but we are part of the collective, and we are constantly in connection with those that are from Source to provide us some guidance and some support and the love that we need, especially the infusion of love that we need. And I believe that when we are feeling that yearning, it's because we've veiled ourselves a little bit to the constant flow that comes from Source. And the fact that you are feeling that either discomfort or that pain or that sense of loss of not being there fully is just your ability to go, well, wait a minute, I'm more than. And I'm not just this physical being that's had a chest infection and a head cold and things like that. I am more than, because I'm not just this little physical body. I'm an expansive, growing energy source that overlaps with others. As the people that I live with, my energy definitely overlaps with them. Theirs, vice versa, but not just in little tiny family units. You've got your work mates. If you go to school, your school friends, your extended family, your community, your country, your planet, the universe, the multi-universe. It's constantly expanding, and our energies are not based on just the little tiny physical atoms and protons and neutrons that are going throughout your physical body, but the vibrational energies that flow from your body is constantly connected to all that is out there. And that is on this physical plane. I know I'm focusing on physical right now, but from a soul perspective, you have a multi-directional fractal type of flow that occurs as you are moving in of conscious physical awareness space to moving back to source connection and the vastness of all that is right there. So going back to Katrina's question, how do we really know what the universe or outer life is, where we truly come from? We come from from a physical perspective, we come from the multi-universal energies and matter that we are currently living in. Plus, from another level, we are roaming around in source and providing the information that our current physical body needs, that we're aware of. Making peace with whatever you decide. This is why we have so many different dogma and religion and beliefs out there. There is no perfect right and there's no perfect wrong. It just is. Whatever you decide, it just is. You can follow a set path as dictated to by other books or leaders or prophets or gods or goddess or whatever types of energies you choose to follow. But the factor of the matter is whatever feels right for you, just go with it. If it doesn't feel right and you just need to veer off a little bit, it's okay. It's okay to do that. Anyone that says, if you don't follow ABC, then CDE is going to happen. Anyone that really gets into that, I question whether or not they are free, free to express, free to look into the many things that life has to offer them as a human being, free to coordinate the human and the soul together to bring collective agreement, so to speak, to experience the most that you can within this current perceived physical incarnation. So that your question, Katrina, is how do we know? I'm going to cheat and just say you just do. If you are questioning it, then you have more discoveries to find out about your preferences. Because I can tell you what I believe to be true. But if you don't agree with it, I'm okay with that. But if you don't agree with it, then you ask yourself, well, why don't I agree with it? What aspects don't I agree with it? Well, it could be this aspect, or I really like what Phoenix said about that, but I don't really like what she said about the other thing. It's okay. This is your time of freedom to choose to express yourself, to create the very life that is surrounding you. With that comes responsibility, but we've talked we've talked about responsibility and what you create before. So you might need to ask yourself, based on your question, Katrina, is why do you want to know the answer to that? If you really knew the answer to that, then what's the point? It's a constant. This is why we are having a human experience. I'm sure there are other life forms out there that love to discover and explore and find ways of stimulating their experience. But the thing at the end of the day is just have the best universe. I'm going to call it a universe. Your universe is your universe. You can invite other people along with you, but it's yours. This is your creative. This is your hologram. This is your holodeck. Yes, I'm a Star Trek fan, but this is what you choose to put in there. So your universe is what you put in there. And that's where, and as for where you truly come from, well, that's the whole, the source, the energy space that we all come from as well. But how you define that is entirely up to you. That's a very vague answer to a very generalized question, Katrina. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. And the thing is, with questions, they're fantastic because they allow you to explore a different avenue of thought. And I hope that brings some new discoveries your way. Now, Sadie asked a question, and please discern how I respond to this. She was wondering, she has a lot of friends that are vegans, and they're wanting her to shift into the vegan diet. And as, are humans supposed to eat animals, or are we doing an injustice? She wanted to know if this can be answered, because she does feel for the animals, but she's wondering whether or not this is a conditioned belief that we've made okay, as in we are conditioned to eat all sorts of things, animals, vegetables, whatever you feel comfortable with. Now, when I first started my journey, I'm talking my exploration journey, my awareness journey, if you want to call it that, I was told by many supposed, experts, that the only way to become aware or expand your vibrational energy is to ensure that what was going into you was pure. I question whether or not that's possible, because with the way our current society infuses certain elements into our diet, into our water system, whether or not, even if you became vegan, that you would be as pure as you are believing that you wish to become. Now, I am not saying please do not become vegan. I'm saying do what feels right for you. If you believe that purity comes from only ingesting that which is from plant life, then so be it. But there are certain aspects within all food sources that we have been generated or conditioned to believe that we should be eating. Within moderation, everything is fine. With excess, that you have potential physical side effects. Now, if you truly are preferring to avoid eating animals because of the love of animals, then that's beautiful. Do that. But you're not going to be any less physically and spiritually aware if you do have some meat in your diet. So regardless of what other people have said, I don't have a nutritional background. I'm a registered nurse, but I don't have the experience that a lot of people that are experts out there telling you that the only way to raise your vibration is to ensure that the food that you're ingesting is matching the vibrational energies that you're wanting to go through. Once again, that comes down to what you're creating in your life, what dogma you bring in there, what belief factor you have with whatever you are introducing yourself to knowledge-wise. So if you believe that you need to be vegan to raise your own inner vibration, then you will naturally take that route because that's what you believe. I have been Reiki level 1, and I thought, well, you know what, I like meat, okay, and although I'm grateful for the animal that has provided this meat for me, and I do wonder whether or not if I had to kill the animal to get the meat, whether or not I'd be able to do it. Probably not. But that's, I would still have eggs and things like that. But that's by the by. For me to get the correct energy source that I wanted from the food, I actually started to put Reiki into the food and had a chat with my own body and said, look, I'm only wanting to take on board that which feels right for me, that which is to help me be the best me that I can be. Yes, sure, I need to to work on more of that. But that's what I consciously started to do. So once again, it's all down to a belief factor. If you believe that that's going to work, then that's going to work. Any kind of intent, any type of focused thought. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen water when it's been prayed on, or an emotion has been infused into it, focused onto this particular water, how the molecules change. Your thought processes is that which makes the changes in the food that you consume. So it's a choice factor, Sadie. If you feel that if you need to be vegan, or your friends are pressuring you that you need to be vegan so you can shift accordingly, be very mindful of the fact that it resonates with you. It feels right for you. If it feels right for you, then it's going to be right for you. It's a simple answer to that question. But as for the animals, everybody has its place, and I do not think the humans are at the top of the food chain. I think we're sort of halfway in the middle, even though some humans would disagree. But the thing is, though, we all have our place in the world. We have those that give, we have those that take, we have those that provide, we have those that serve, and we all have a balanced role about that. And that's how nature works, is to ensure a cycle of life that is beneficial for all. Unfortunately, for humanity's sake, we need to shift a little bit so we can keep that cycle a little bit more balanced, so we're not taking and removing all the fossil fuels from our beautiful planet, or taking away the sources of energy that is needed for this planet to survive. I would like to think that the planet is more likely to survive than what we are with the damage that we're doing to our planet. But with those that are becoming more and more aware of the things that are needed for this planet, I think collectively we're going to come together to do the right thing. Whether or not a lot of our differences will make a difference, it remains to be seen. But I do believe that many of us are rising up to make sure that balance, that cycle, that dance that we have here on this planet is there to ensure the best for all, and not just humanity. As I said, we're not the top of the food chain, or the social structure, or all that is there to ensure the dance of life to continue. Even if we were removed from the equation, the dance would still continue. And probably planet Earth would probably be in a different state, whether or not you'd have another being that was trying to tip the balance. But that's by the by. So, Sadie, it's entirely up to you. Whatever you believe in, whatever your focused thought is with regard to food and what you consume and how it allows you to increase your awareness, that is something for you to ponder. I know it does feel as though you can have an opinion about something, but at the end of the day, it's your choice, because that's what you put into your life. The choices you make is what you put into how your life grows. Hope that answers some of your question. I'm sure some people may disagree, and that's okay. This is just my own personal opinion right now. So Mary has asked this question: can we consciously raise our energy enough to enable us to connect with spirit, or does the connection happen automatically? Both of those situations are correct. Yes, we can consciously allow the energies to work with us so we can connect with whatever type of energy you're wishing to connect with. Now, when I worked with Chiron, I was introduced to 12, okay? And at least 5, 6 of them have a similar energy. And as I developed the relationship with Chiron, I found that working with those 5, 6 people was really easy. It became like breathing. And although I had, as I built the relationship, the connection and the flow just happened easily with these 5 to 6 energy beings. But there were others, there were a few others that I really had to make a supreme conscious effort to communicate with them. And I think I talked about this before, but one of them was with an energy that I almost had to, I couldn't communicate with the six at all. I had changed myself so much that my usual way of communicating with source energy was very, very different. I didn't get the signs that I usually got. All I had, it felt like I was in a room. It felt like I was in a room, and the only person I could talk to from a source perspective was this one, because I had to shift myself. And I don't know, and I see frequency alters. It's not hierarchical, but it definitely alters. And I have to shift in a way that the only communication, and I could change. I was changing. I felt a physical change, and but yet when I communicated with this being who has told me that they have been defined as the ultimate creator or destructor. Some people call him death, or they, or it, he. There's no gender, but they call him death. And but he had they had the most amazing sense of humor, and very, very pragmatic, and their energy was almost infectious. It was. But the thing is, because I felt so disconnected from the other energies, and even just because I see things in mind movies, and I hear things, and I feel things. I'm quite. I have multi ways of communicating, but all that pretty much stopped for a week, and it took me a good 2-3 days to. Because I only spent about 20 minutes, half an hour with this energy just to get some information, figure out who they are, because I'm nosy. I like to know things, and their ability to provide information via the six meant that I didn't have to change my physical frequency, vibration to communicate with them again, and I will do it again. I'll bring them through one time for you when I'm 100%, because it really takes me off my axis, so to speak. But just working with that energy was a very unique experience. And then I almost had the complete opposite, where I was connected to with a source energy that had absolutely no form. And just communicating with that, I had to shift. I actually felt it was almost like my cells were vibrating really, really fast to connect with this energy to bring whatever information they wanted to get through. And between those types of vibrational energies, they now know to talk through the others, the bulk of the Chiron 12, to help provide any insight from their perspective. Because I would say each origin, life form, provides information from a real different perspective. Like some are very scientific, others are very healing. There are those that provide wisdom beyond wisdom, that just touches you from a really deep level. It's quite crazy when I see the stuff that is written after I've had a channeling session, and you just read it, and that whole disconnection of how it's not me writing that, even though it's me typing that disconnection of me as they are working through me is a blessing for me, and that's quite a lot for me to say that, because for a while, and I'm probably still am, I like to control my space. I like to control what my body does. And so I was very resistant to doing anything like this, connecting with source and doing the stuff that threatened to overwhelm me at times. But I soon learned that I had the control to ensure that whatever experience occurred, it did with my full consent and my permission. And I also knew that nothing negative would come out of it. And if it did, I would learn from it and move on. But honestly, with the 6 years of working with the energies that I've been working with, it really was a honor to do so, and that trust that builds up as you start becoming consciously able to connect with the things that you enjoy. There's all different types of energies out there, and like I know some people that are amazing, and they work with those that have passed over, and those either in a traumatic situation, and I watch them with awe because they are able to provide messages of insight and love and affection from past loved ones. And although I tend to work with the energies that are not from this earth, it doesn't make me any less or better. It just means that there are all different types of people depending on your choices as to what type of energies you like to work with. And I'm so fascinated when I see these evidential mediums, people that can provide specific knowledge about a experience that this life had with whoever they're connecting with. It's a wonder to behold. And I believe if I wanted to, I could do the same. I believe this is not for the special, it's for those that are drawn to certain aspects. Yeah, sure, you're going to be naturally I don't like to use the word gift, but you're going to be naturally drawn to that which comes easy for you. And it will come easy for you because in previous lives, or in the many lives that you've had or having, don't start me on linear stuff, but you have done this all before. This is all a state of remembrance. It's not a state of learning. It's a state of remembering that you are capable of a great many things that you put your mind to. And so that's why I'm telling you, Mary, it's both. You can consciously shift to create a connection with an energy source to communicate with, or you could just allow it to happen. And it's pretty as you build a relationship up. And the biggest relationship that you need to build up is with yourself. You have to ask yourself, how do I communicate? What's the best way for me to communicate? Are you someone that's an observer? Are you someone that listens and takes it all in, but not just what the words that are being said, but how it's being presented? Are you a person that is vocal and just speaks your mind without even thinking? Or are you a person that's quite capable of just sitting there and being without actually having to have any input in any situation? So how you communicate is a good question to ask yourself, and how you can communicate with spirit. And also what you're good at, whether or not you can see things or hear things or just get that knowing or feel things. So yeah, it's an interesting experience as you grow into your conscious awareness of all that's possible out there. And it's not just communication with spirit, it's communication with the trees and our planet and people around you, and just being able to effectively just bring the joy that can flow from you to other people. I do believe we get taught at a very young age to be what's the word? Not we're born quite self-absorbed, because we're learning about our bodies, we're learning about our environment. We have a strong connection to source when we're a child as well. So we're learning where our human fits into this spiritual experience that you're having, and the way to do that is to have an environment that allows you to do that freely, and it's not always easy to do that. And saying that, though, allowing yourself to come into your own is something that's constantly redefined. It's the chance to be the best you that you could be, no matter whatever you choose, whatever circumstances you choose to be. So, wow, I don't quite know where that time went to. It's already been half an hour. But I think we might just call it a day, only because I'm feeling not 100% today. But I'm glad I persevered. I'm glad I just kept on moving through. And that's what I pretty much challenge each and every one of you to do, is to persevere and to move on through and to focus on the very things that you want to. Now, our next sessions that we'll probably have, I'm probably going to have a little bit of a formal layout and have a discussion about all sorts of things. And I really do hope that you come along. I hope some of the things that I've talked about, and it hasn't been very many, but that's okay, has touched you in some way, shape or form. So I do thank you for coming here today, and I look forward to having a lovely discussion with people in the not too distant future. Thank you very much.